What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Just before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the post notifications. It's free, and it'll notify you whenever we drop another banger just like this video. Plus, it'll help us reach our goal of 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the video. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the release. Thank you so much for 75 subscribers. We're 25 away. 25 away from our goal of 100. We wanted that by the end of the year, and it's looking like we're going to get it by the summer. So thank you. Keep it up. Keep sharing and all that. But now let's get into it. Kobe Bryant went to the Hall of Fame. Along with Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. Yeah. Okay?
Yep.
And congrats to Kobe. Man, when his daughters and wife went up there and took the jacket for him, and then they all started chanting Kobe, man. That was just a beautiful moment. You know, humans are still good people, you know? Monty Williams wins Coach of the Year. That's good. That is very good.
He did? Wait.
Yeah, he won. Monty Williams won Coach of the Year.
I kind of wanted Tom Thibodeau. I like him.
Yeah, no,
that's what he did with the Knicks. Like, if you're a coach and you do anything with the Knicks, you need, like, a pat on the back and a half.
Yeah, no, he was definitely in the conversation, but Monty Williams is I just love the chemistry that him and Chris Paul have.
Yeah.
They were with each other back on New Orleans. So, yeah, man. There's that. And finally, before we get right into it, I saw this weird thing. I don't know if it's true. I didn't bother looking it up, but it said that Tony Snell had a 50-50, 100 season.
David,
yeah.
Wait up.
Yeah, hold up.
Monty Williams won a Coach of the Year from fellow coaches.
Oh!
Yeah, I just had to.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that. Okay,
yes.
okay, well, that's still valid.
That
that's
would
still
be
pretty
like
much Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Okay, then if it's not him, then it's definitely going to be Monty Williams. I mean, Tom Thibodeau. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just clarify that up, but go ahead.
Let's look this up because it said that Tony Snell had a 50-50, 100 season. Tony Snell, stat muse. Let me tell you guys.
How many games did he play to keep 100?
Apparently, he's playing 20 a game. Let's see.
Wow.
He got 50-50, 100 this season.
Crazy.
51.5% field goal percentage, 56.9% three-point percentage, and 100% free throw percentage. And then this year, damn, he only averaged 5.3 points, but he was getting 21.1 minutes a game. Wow.
So whatever he shoots, he hit. Damn. That's pretty much it.
Pretty much. All right. Well, now that that's over, let's get straight into it. So today we are talking about the greatest player from the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. But before all that, I have the winner of the last episode. Give me a drum roll, Mike. Give me a drum roll. It's the release.
Oh.
Series is tied up 1-1.
What was the score?
It was 53% to 47%.
That was close.
Oh my god.
It was close.
That's close.
It was 8-7 for the release.
I didn't even vote for myself. I know you guys all voted for yourselves.
You want to know what? No. No, everyone, Canada, I have something to say. I was checking the votes. Pastor Brandon voted for himself.
Oh, yeah, right.
I didn't even vote.
I have the proof.
Screenshot it.
Bold face lie.
I have the proof.
Screenshot it. I want to see it. I don't know. That might have been my wife on my phone. You never know.
But you want to know what? I took that vote away, and I also took, sadly, I have a confession. Mike may have voted for us. You never know, but he may have. So I took those two votes away.
I'm not going to specify. I'm not going to say anything.
You don't have to. But I took those two votes away, and the score was still in favor of the release.
Oh.
Let's go.
Thank you guys so much. The series is tied up 1-1. This is going to look 5 games. Gentlemen's sweep. We let him have the first one to get warm. Come on now.
I feel like people heard Pastor Brandon say the Clippers, totally just exited off of the video and voted for us.
Now, you want to know what? I had so many people. The people that did vote for him DM'd me like, yo, you can't go against the word of God, man. I was like, you know what? That's valid.
This man was invoking God. Like,
yeah.
That was crazy.
Your parents,
when you bring up the Bible, there's no counter to
your parents are voting for me. I just want to let you know that.
my parents. You never know, man. You never know. All right, but now let's get into it. So like I just said, we are going to be reviewing the GOAT of each decade from the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. Now, everybody, this is a disclaimer. Don't get all pissed at us in the comments, okay? Don't give me the give me the 500 views, all right? But don't give us the 35 dislikes and the 5 likes, okay? And all the hate comments saying we're dumb and we can't make threes. For your information, I hit a lot of shots in this jersey. Jordan's like Little John Wall. Pastor Brandon has the white chocolate moves, and Mike is just a slasher. So
I'm literally a slasher.
So you know what? 4v4 us. That's all I gotta say.
True.
But we are not including Michael Jordan or LeBron James because it is evident those are the 2 best players of all time. So we are.
Was Kobe picked as well?
We were allowed to do Kobe because I picked him.
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Yes,
Yeah.
RIP the GOAT.
Jeez.
RIP the GOAT.
Mhm.
Yes, but let's get started off, okay, Pastor Brandon? We're at home court advantage, but yet I'm still gonna give you the ball, okay? You win the tip-off.
Go
Have
ahead.
Pastor Brandon argue your 90s, 2000s, and 2010s players. Go ahead.
Well, from the beginning, I was definitely sabotaged by this argument, which is pretty normal by this group because it's always, they're picking their stuff before I even get a chance.
You're
I
a
have a-
90s kid.
I have a life I have to live. And so, by the time I get the questions and topics, you guys have already picked everything that you've, against me. So, but I'm pretty confident in my answers that I will be
I
able
gave this to you the day of,
Oh,
and I knew you were born you grew up in the 90s, Pastor Brandon.
anyway, let me just, my 90s and 2000s are actually the same person. I'm going with the same person. I'm going with Shaquille O'Neal. Being the best player from both of those time periods. I am saying this because I'm just going to go over the stats real quick, okay?
Go.
When he's with the Magic in his first season, 23 points average. That's pretty good. First season, and that wasn't big Shaq. That was athletic Shaq, still trying to figure out what kind of player he wanted to be. By second season, he's just shy of 30 points a game average. And then as soon as he hits the Lakers, it drops a bit, but the winning goes up for his team, and he becomes one of the most dominant centers ever to play the game. And that sets up a lot of the success that happens in the 2000s. See, without Shaq in the 90s, the Shaq of the 2000s never helps the Lakers be as dominant as they were. And so I'm giving full credit to Shaq in the Lakers run. I'm not going to say he was better than Kobe, but I'm going to say that without Shaq, Kobe couldn't have done what he did in the 2000s. So I'm just saying Shaq is a beast in the 90s, and he dominates in the 2000s. And he even goes to the Heat and helps D Wade get a championship before he just kind of, takes the money and goes home. I get it. I'm an older guy, and I would probably do that too. I'd probably, do my winning and then get my money a little later. And if anyone watching this knows a little bit about work, you probably are trying to do the same thing too. Nobody's trying to work their hardest at 64 years old. 65, you retire. 64, you're slowing down. Okay, so that's what Shaq did.
Respectable.
Championship, contendership, I guess, to the Lakers in the late 90s. And then he just kind of, with Kobe's help, brought it right into the 2000s. And then, of course, kind of just helped D Wade finish off his career, at least with the championship ring, before LeBron got there, before all the super teams existed. So I'm going with Shaq for the 90s and the 2000s. And then for the 2010s, I'm going with Steph Curry. I mean, he changed the game. He literally changed the game. He literally made the game easier for 3 of you to play a little bit. There was like a 1% chance more that each one of you could have made the NBA because of Steph Curry now in this lifetime.
If
Everyone
anything, Steph Curry makes it harder to make the NBA because now
No.
everyone just expects. No, listen, everyone expects the shooting and all this and the 3-pointers. Because yes, he did change the game, but it's not easier for us to get in now. Come on,
Stop.
come on. They're expecting
He's made it
3-point
harder
shooting.
for a ton of positions.
Come on,
I mean,
my
Yeah.
3-point
centers
shooting
have to shoot now.
sucks. I can't get into the NBA because I have garbage 3-point shooting.
He's killed many careers.
Okay,
And
but
he has.
people that don't have a 3-point shot now aren't
Overshot.
surviving in this league.
Overshadowed so many great point guards just for this 3-point shot. I mean, he will
Ben
go down
Simmons.
better than Chris Paul.
Hmm
okay, wait.
and-
Let me explain this.
Go
So
ahead.
Shaq, since Shaq has left, there's been no other Shaq. He is that, and that's why I'm giving him the most dominant of the 90s, 2000s. There's been no one like him. There was Yao Ming, who is similar, but just wasn't as dominant. So that's why I'm giving Shaq the 90s and 2000s, because there hasn't been anyone like him since. There's no way you can argue that. And I'm using that same argument for Curry in the 2010s. There is no other player like him. As soon as he crosses half, he is a threat. Now, Damian Lillard, Westbrook, they can get to the bucket and they do have clutch moments, but I just think Curry gives everyone a chance to say, hey, I can play in the NBA. And that wasn't possible in the Shaq era. Like, if you weren't the size of Shaq, you weren't going to be able to play that game. And now Curry has changed the game to a new standard. And I just think it's much easier for someone to make the NBA. I don't like Steve Nash as the player. But Steve Nash was like people's greatest hope at one point, which wasn't very realistic because he wasn't a great shooter, wasn't a great, he was just a good all-around person. And so I think Steph Curry just changes the game. And so that's why I'm giving him the 2010s, because I think that shifts the whole NBA for the next 20 years. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't see Taco Falls trying to shoot a three. Like, if Steph Curry's not in the league, Taco Falls not anywhere close to that three-point line.
It's true. I'd like to rebuttal your Shaq 90s point because he comes in later. He's not as dominant as he was in the early 2000s with the Lakers. And he got dominated by one man in the paint, swept by Hakeem, outscored in all 4 games.
Ooh.
Absolutely kind of sunned. I'm not going to lie to you. My case for Hakeem, he was the real deal. I'm not even going to go into details about his Hall of Fame resume. He took his team twice to the promised land, twice with just Clyde Drexler, pretty much. He had an aging Robert Horry on his team, an aging Sam Cassell. He didn't have much. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he had much help. He outscored Patrick Ewing and dominated. Pretty much took him over 7 games, outscoring him every single game, having 50% field goal percentage. Next time, he sweeps a young and dominant Shaq. I think he's the best defensive center of all time, to be honest with you.
Valid.
An absolute monster. Only guy to do 200 blocks and 200 steals in a season. That's just hustle. That's crazy to me. 9 times for any defensive team. 5 and 4 first and second team. I mean, yeah, the resume, you can, I don't see anybody coming near 2000 Shaq, but I think 90 Shaq has some developing to do for sure.
The only reason I disagree with that, Mike, is because when we talk about the greats, I really don't hear Hakeem's name thrown around like on a regular basis. It's always like someone like you that loves basketball, that remembers Hakeem, but the average basketball fan, if you ask them about who Hakeem Olajuwon is, that's not on the radar for them. But everyone knows Shaq, whether it's from the 90s or 2000s. I'm just saying. He was overshadowed by a little man named Michael Jordan for the whole decade, but at the same time, at least Shaq made it onto a video with Jordan, where he does the 1-2 move and makes a shot over Jordan, right? Like,
that's so pretty.
I don't see any clips on House of Highlights, on NBA Reels. I don't see anything of Hakeem Olajuwon, but I see tons of Shaq stuff. I'm just putting it out there.
Right,
mostly because he made his massive impact in the 2000s. Meanwhile, Hakeem's in the 90s.
Videos too of Shaq, though. I don't see a lot of 90s videos of Hakeem Olajuwon.
Because he was breaking backwards. Like,
that's facts. You want to know who did make quite a few highlight reels, in my opinion? Okay. So first of all, before I start this argument, I'd like to say I was conflicted between 2 90s players. It is David Robinson, repping the Spurs, and Patrick Ewing. Okay. Now I bring up Patrick Ewing right now because and David Robinson because I was listening to a podcast the other day. It is called The Big Podcast with Shaq, and Spice Adams and Nichelle. I believe her name is Nichelle Harrison. And it is a wonderful podcast. And Shaq was talking about when he first came into the league, when Patrick Ewing was a guest on that show. And he said Patrick Ewing is the only reason that Shaq is Shaq. And that's why I had to go with my man Patrick Ewing. He also mentioned, He also mentioned that he was terrified of Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, like Mike said, and David Robinson. And of course, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan also says that he thinks Russ is like amazing and would love to play with Russ. He's not the best player of the 2010s, though.
Exactly, man. And they're like, wait, what? But okay,
just because a player says something good about another player doesn't mean that they have the impact that you think. That's what I'm trying to say.
But Shaq says that he wanted to be Ewing The reason he wore 33, I believe it is, in LSU and in high school, it was because of Ewing. He tried to take Ewing's play style. Was he more dominant than him? Hell yeah. But without Ewing, we don't get a Shaq. Now.
What?
He said it himself. He said it himself. No,
Stop
okay,
the cap.
cool. Stop this.
He's
Stop
a
this. I'll
physical
post the
anomaly
link
with
in
or
the
without-
comment section.
With a
Oh, it's my idol. Big Pat, what's up, baby?
I think the Jamaica part gave it away.
Yeah, it did. It did. Pat, I know me and you had some tough battles, but you was always my favorite player. I don't think you know this. I wore number 33 in high school and college because of you.
Oh.
I never told you this, but I'm telling you this now. You was always my favorite player. Like, I know we had some tough battles, but my father's Jamaican, so, we kind of had the same blood. Like, I get my greatness from you and David and Akeem and all those guys. And these big guys now, we try to stay on them, but they think we hate. There was only a couple players that when I first went up against them, I was terrified. Patrick Ewing, terrified. Because I grew up watching him. Because, he knows I'm from New Jersey. I had a pair of orange and blue Ewings. I actually thought I was Ewing. I was terrified of Mike.
Oh, man.
I was terrified of getting dunked on by Dominique, and I was terrified of David Robinson.
with or without Patrick Ewing, he's still a physical anomaly. He's still gonna dominate the paint. It doesn't matter.
Yes, yes.
Shaq didn't need to see.
There was no greatness of Shaq without Ewing, and he says it himself.
Shaq wasn't inspired by Patrick Ewing anyway. So what
really? You want to watch the show? I'll put the link in the description for all the viewers so you can see it.
Who was Shaq watching when he was a kid though? Like, I mean,
come on now.
Yeah.
Thank God Shaq didn't follow in the steps of Ewing though and miss an easy layup. Thank God. I mean, I can understand foul shots, but layup where your fingers are touching the rim and you still miss. I don't know.
Come on, man. I'm telling you, without Ewing, there's no Shaq. Now about my David Robinson guy.
Okay, so wait, who's your player? Is it Patrick Ewing or David Robinson?
It is both because I was conflicted. I just wanted to say that Patrick Ewing.
Pick one.
Okay,
fine.
Let's put Patrick Ewing in the garbage, okay?
No. Then I'll stick with Patrick Ewing because I will stand by it. Shaq said himself, without Patrick Ewing, there is no Shaq. He said there's no greatness. There's no greatness of Shaq without Patrick Ewing. I'll put the timestamp in the description. I'll put the link in the description, and I'll send it to all three of you right after the show.
Hakeem dominates. I would say was better than Patrick Ewing every single season.
I'm just arguing Shaq right now. I can't argue. I can't do nothing against Hakeem when I'm talking about Patrick.
Can you explain your reaning for this, please?
Okay, let's hear it.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead then with my player. Because all right.
So, okay, go ahead. Then.
I was freestyle, by the way.
Let's see. So this man right now, he's an analyst at TNT. He's not Shaq. That's the other guy. Charles Barkley. The most criminally underrated player of all time.
Jordan has a pair of Ewings.
Wait. Everyone looking past the
Did you know that Jordan has a pair of Ewings?
He's a great player.
Jordan had a pair of Ewings.
That's the most memorable thing about Ewing in the 90s. Not just playing.
True.
Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, and someone else. I also heard this on the Shaq podcast as well. Made Madison Square Garden.
Oh.
Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah. All right, let me go on now because you.
Okay, yeah, go on.
You keep going about you. Yeah. Okay, so the starters, he's an 8-time All-Star. He's an MVP, and to make this, he got out of the first round 9 of his 10 times in the Western Conference. Unlike Hakeem, by the way, he had his best time during while Michael Jordan was playing. He didn't wait until Michael Jordan left the NBA to start dominating. Okay. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean. This guy led the dream team in points, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage.
Oh man, sorry, Charles
Barkley. From 1990 to 1993, he had more MVP votes than Michael Jordan at 2 of the 4 seasons. That's crazy. I mean, obviously, you talk about 1992, 1993 MVP season, one of the best MVP seasons of the decade. 60 wins, 26, 12, and 5. I mean, in the second round, he dominates David Robertson, averaging 26 and 13. Then he goes on to the conference finals, beats the Gary Payton and Sean Kemp Sonics. He has 43 and 15 in Game 5, Game 7, 44 and 24. Listen, let me repeat that again, 44 and 24.
Statistically, yes.
He's
a great
different.
player.
He's different.
But
he's different.
My man has 2 titles out of the decade. I don't know. Back to back.
Also, your guy
with a weaker team.
Mars what?
Charles got a little bit slower towards the end of the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, he was still good though. He was still good.
Yeah,
He was still putting.
I
up
think
good
you need a
numbers.
chip to show for it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, David Robinson or Patrick Ewing doesn't have a chip though. I mean, or neither does Shaq either. I mean, at least in the '90s
Yeah,
standpoint.
in the 90s. If we're arguing the 90s. But
Yeah, but it's
Like-
he wins in the 2000s, which is set up all by the 90s.
if we're talking 2000s.
That's a good point,
Yeah,
but he
that-
can't win 90s right now. If we're just looking at the 90s, he can't win that.
Sure.
I said
but-
Barkley was a great player. This
No.
wasn't even his prime, but it still shows how great Barkley was. Come on
Wait,
now.
Jordan, you just said the only thing he really won was the Dream Team, which would have definitely happened without Charles Barkley, by the way.
But he still had
Yes.
7 points though. That's
I can agree with
crazy.
that.
That's crazy. That's
Against
crazy.
against people who are 2 years older than you guys.
Like
And
Yeah, they're all
who's their
taking
biggest
vacations.
competition? Tony
Like,
Kukoc. Tony
They're
Kukoc
all.
was the biggest threat, and they bust his ass. Like they got him
Everyone
good.
else was taking a break in Barcelona, and Charles Barkley and his fat ass saw an opportunity, and he seized it.
Damn. Okay. Well, anyways, let's
Hey,
quickly move on to the 90s.
great
Okay.
player.
Let's. I mean the 2000s.
Yeah, great player.
We only
No
have a
doubt.
couple
No doubt.
minutes left, right? So for the 2000s, I'm gonna just get straight to it. I said Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest scorers of all time, if not the greatest scorer of all time. Okay, 18-time All-Star, 2-time Finals MVP, 5 rings, 1-time regular season MVP, 15-time All-NBA first, second, and 13. That's all of those combined. 12-time All-Defense first and second, 2-time scoring champion, 4th all-time in points, 16th all-time in steals, and one of the most influential players of all times. You ask the modern day players in the league, Jason Tatum, all these type of guys, who is their favorite player? Kobe,
Mhm.
the same. And man spoke like 5 languages. So like,
All right. I picked one of David's favorite players, Tim
let's
Duncan.
go.
Tim Duncan. I think I've already said it before on another podcast. He's a top 5 player of all time.
Preach.
I've said he's better than Kobe. I mean, I know that may piss off a lot of people. I'm just being honest here, right? So this is where we start. 10-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, which is more than Kobe, by the way. 3-time championship, right?
Which is less than Kobe, by the way. But
And
Tim
2
Duncan, I'm
times
sorry.
Finals MVP. And 2 times Finals MVP.
Calm.
So we look at Tim Duncan, great defender, one of the best of all time.
Valid.
Should have won Defensive Player of the Year. They snubbed him. That was extreme garbage.
True.
Not only that, he defeated Shaq and Kobe when they're going for a 4-peat.
Ooh.
Ooh, we're not going to talk about that one.
We're
not gonna
gonna
talk about that
one because they had bad chemistry.
No. This was not when Karl Malone was there. They were 3 championships in a row, going back for a 4-peat, and Tim Duncan outperforms Shaq, averaging 28, 11, and 5. It gets even better here.
Nothing about my boy.
Gets even better. Conference Finals beats a 60-win Mavericks team with Dirk, Nick Van Exel, and Steve Nash.
Oh, I forgot
averaging
about
28.
that Magic team, bro.
Yep. Mavs team. Yeah,
Mavs
the team's
team.
nasty.
Yeah.
28, 7, and 6 and 3 blocks. Finals, he beats the Jason Kidd Nets in 5 games. 24, 17, 5 steals and 5 blocks.
That's a pretty weak Nets team. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, look, the
It's
first
a
2
pretty weak
teams he
Nets
beat,
team.
though. The first 2 teams he beat, though, were still
The
great.
first 2 teams he beat.
Yeah,
But
we'll
that
give you
next team, that Nets team, like, listen, bro, that was such an easy championship. Like, yes,
Yeah,
they
that was an
deserved
easy
it and all.
championship.
Yes, they deserved it and all because of the 2 crazy teams that got passed in the West. But come on, man.
It is what it is, but
man.
To make this 1 point even better, right?
It
I
is
know
what it
someone's going to
is.
say, oh, Tim Duncan, he got carried this year. He's always been on a stat team. He was carried by a great coach. Nonsense, right? We all know Greg Popovich was in the hot seat before Tim Duncan went on the team. It is what it is. So Tim Duncan averaged 15 points, was inefficient. Manu Ginobili only averaged 9 points this playoff run, and David Robinson only averaged David Robinson only averaged 8 points. So Tim Duncan carried this team, had the best season of the 2000s, best defensive player of the 2000s, more MVPs, was the most consistent player of the 2000s, and therefore is the best player of the 2000s. It is what it is.
Man, I can't say
Okay.
nothing about my boy Tim Duncan. So, Mike, you just go ahead.
I came to the party late. I answered after you guys, so I'm not even in this. But I picked Dwayne Wade. I really had 2 choices: Dwayne Wade or Kevin Garnett. Dwayne came into the league in 03, late to the party, arguably before his prime of basically 2012, 2013. And he did more than KG because he could lead his original team to a championship. Yes, with the help of an aging Shaq, we would get that out of the way. But an elite scorer took the 2009 scoring title, and a lock-up defender, very elite defender, I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
He took championship and finals MVP in 06.
Mm-hmm.
He was better on that team than Shaq, I believe.
Oh, he was. All right.
Yeah. And yeah, he took a team, like, I don't care. The Heat doesn't have much history before then, because like the Alonzo Mourning Heat is not that great. He revives that team, gets drafted, and yeah, five All-Star appearances, 2 all-defensive team, first team appearances in that decade. So yeah, obviously I'm not arguing next to you guys because you guys took
of course,
way better players than him. But
it was still a valid argument for the guy like that. I was just gonna say, like, I was just gonna say
a bit longer. If he played a bit longer, he'd probably.
My pretty much my only argument for that guy was how many MVPs did he have? How many Finals MVPs did he have? How many chips did he have?
More. Yeah, like it's true. It's true. Yeah. All time, you can't really argue that. But.
So now 2000s is next.
2010.
Whoever wants to go
next.
2000. Yeah, 10s. Yeah.
Well, look, it always happens like this. You guys always set it up. It's always set up against me for failure. I got to cut because this is just. I got something else I got to do, but I know what's going to happen. As soon as I leave, you guys are going to start talking about me, talking about my choices, and I'm not here to back it up. So let me just make a full wine circle before I leave. Let all my fans know that I appreciate them, and let all the prospective fans know that you can vote for me. Nope, don't feel bad about voting for me. You don't need to feel bad for these guys because they don't know what they're talking about. You don't need to.
Come on now.
Wow.
You don't need. I just need you to understand this. Just vote for the person who knows what they're talking about. I'm just gonna put it out there.
That's your ending remark?
That's my ending remark, David, because you know what? You took Kobe Bryant, and who is gonna fight against a guy that's, sadly passed away? That's ridiculous. I think we should have Kobe should have been on the MJ LeBron part. I don't know why you put him.
True.
Your show.
Yeah, he's elite enough. He's elite enough to go there.
But there goes David's argument, by the way.
I let the two of you guys pick. I let the two of you guys pick before I picked Kobe. And Mike sadly had to pick last.
David, my closing remarks before I leave. Your
closing remarks. Go ahead. You pick Shaq.
All right, let's hear it. He gets the floor. Give him the floor.
Without Ewing, there is no Shaq. Go ahead.
About Tim Duncan, and I love Tim Duncan. I really do. But, when I just thought of the Hall of Fame stuff, and I was like, I appreciate the career of Tim Duncan. But, like, when I think of Tim Duncan, I just don't think of him as like the biggest star of the 2000s. Like, I just don't. Like, I feel like he's definitely not really the top 5. I know his stats would say top 5, but just in popularity and like the game and crowds wanting to see players play, I don't think people came to see Tim Duncan play like how you guys talked him up like that. So I'm just putting that out there too, okay? And
without Tim Duncan, they don't get into
me and Mike I'm just saying.
All right, clap him off.
Man,
let's move on to the.
Listen. I'm sorry we can't move on though. It just wouldn't be fair. It would be unjust.
Fair, so.
It wouldn't be right. Okay, listen. As much as Pastor Brandon will slander us, okay, and how much he may try to take us down, but you know what? He can't because we are the release. Okay, we are the release. Now, just a quick reminder before we end everything off. Make sure to vote for who you think won. I think all 3 of us provided some very compelling arguments, and you know what? You want to know what? Listen, don't even vote for my Kobe argument, right? Okay? Because these guys think that it's unfair. So you want to know what? Go ahead and look for my Patrick Ewing thing. I'll put the link to the Shaq video in the description, and I'll also put the timestamp. All right? Okay. But without further ado, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn on the post notifications, vote on my story, vote in the comments. Make sure to be specific. Make sure to have a great day, evening, night, wherever you guys are staying at. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Get us to 100 by the end of the year. Peace.